So I want to talk about artwork, I'm going to feel like an old man rocking on his porch swing, reminiscing of simpler times. I still own a first edition printing of classic D&D, Gamma World, and Star Frontiers. I own Mechton 2, BattleTech, and Top Secret. I remember when the best artwork seen in role-playing games were only found in Palladium. Now it appears you won't be credited with good artwork unless it's full color and featuring some form of digital element. Back when Amethyst was a free RPG conversion for D20, I had scoured the web, seeking out inspiration from the massive depository of artwork found there. I later sought permission from several artists to use their original illustrations, not commissioned, with my game. In all, I sent about 30 emails. Of those, only 2 said no, and would immediately be vacated from memory. The remaining majority had offered their blessings, with a few praising me for even asking. Sound advice, by the way. These included several artists now considered as close to being celebrities as this industry can offer. When Amethyst attempted professional publication, still 3.5 years later, I returned to these artists inquiring if they wanted to be paid for original artwork tied to Amethyst. The vast majority said yes. Unfortunately, many were considerably out of my price range. One charged $1,000 per image, while another wouldn't go below $500 for a basic sketch. Filtering these out, we were left with a cadre of trained artists, nearly all of which would only work in color. We came to the unfortunate conclusion that we could only offer about 5 color illustrations in a printed book with no color for this edition. The cover responsibilities eventually fell to Jamie Jones, a talented and budding artist I had met years before. Later contracts with ArenaNet and Wizards of the Coast would net him significant recognition. My primary Magic deck features several of his cards. Jamie would go on to do 2 more pieces for us. 10 more were commissioned from an artist named... These final pieces were less than disappointing. We found ourselves stuck with an image of a dragon that looked like a Skeksis wrapped in cabbage. My co-writer kept insisting we send her an image of a baby crying to reflect our opinion. That wasn't actually the worst of it. That would fall to a very well-known artist, larger than Jones at the time, that had been signed on to do 1 color image. Despite being contracted and offering an initial sketch, he never delivered the final despite repeated emails. It just goes to show you that being popular and talented does not equate a respectable businessman. Of all the artists we approached, only one would work in black and white. Well, not exactly. It would be more accurate to say only one gave us a rate that reflected the reduced costs of black and white, as well as displaying a quality that we considered on the level we wished. This was Nick Greenwood. The irony of this story is that after Amethyst Foundations was released, Dias Ex Machina has been flooded with offers from artists, all of which accept black and white commissions. I know it sounds like I'm downplaying Nick's importance, and you would be right. It does sound this way. At the beginning, I didn't even think of it. I later came to realize the decency of the artist as well as the man. He rivals the collective talent of all the others. Here's what I know about Nick Greenwood. He has a flotilla of daughters from a delightful wife. He is as far opposite on the social, political, and spiritual axis from me as 2 people could be and still manage a high level of courteous discourse. To quote Edward R. Murrow, he's one of those civilized individuals who did not insist on agreement with his political principles as a precognition for conversation or friendship. At first, I had only commissioned Nick for 12 images. I believe I have since paid for his kids' dental work. Not that they need it. This expanded quickly to 20 images, then to 30. Nick somehow knows exactly what I want, and even when he misses, he does so by only a few degrees. But most importantly, when we do differ in ideas, his insistence on ensuring the quality of the end product trumps any ego he might have. Every image in a DEM publication has a purpose, a specific person, place, or event. We don't have the budget to commission filler. When I received my first final commission from Nick, I was amazed, only to discover that it was just this sketch, and the final was still to come. As we moved into Foundations, the 4th edition, I only brought in one other talent, Jeremy Simmons, to handle our maps. I remain working with Jeremy because he shares with Nick that echelon of high quality. Despite agreed-upon rates, neither man will allow a work of art to be published if it does not reflect the best that they could make it. Nick was the only artist rehired for Foundations. Rehired is inaccurate, as he never actually went anywhere. I just continually send him money like I'm leasing his services. Since then, I've seen him deliver the most amazing artwork I've ever seen in a game. He once mentioned his strength was in monsters and characters, and he's no good with technology. Like I said, a humble man. Moving into newer Spasta, which was our next campaign setting, I asked him to alter his entire artistic style. He did so, if you can. There's an appeal to having artwork consistent in a publication, especially one like a role-playing game. It's unfortunate to flip through a book and notice the quality and style of artwork shift drastically from page to page. I still fondly remember the artwork from Palladium, DreamPod 9, and Artel's Orion. Today, I find myself surrounded by books with incredible art budgets flooded with digital landscapes by the hands of skilled artists. Regardless of anyone's opinion on the writing in Amethyst, I will always defend the quality of its art. I have found myself often commissioning art for a product that may not justify the cost given potential returns. I never regret those decisions. No matter if the product succeeds or fails, it will always look good. This is Chris from Dias Ex Machina.